Here we go. Okay, there we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the S&P Sports Show. I'm your host, Shawn Stewart, and it is 7 o'clock on the dot. Yes, it is 7 o'clock, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about, including these upcoming UFC pay-per-view fight, the NFL Divisional playoffs. Of course, we're going to talk about the Chicago Bears situation we were supposed to talk about on Tuesday, but said, you know what, we'll talk about it on Thursday. And also, in case you did not know, it is official that the LIV will now be on the CW network, which they will broadcast 14 events as well. And my co-host, as always, Mr. Anthony Paulis. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, Shawn. It's Thursday, getting ready for the weekend. We got football, we got UFC,
Right.
basketball's on the horizon. There's Big Ten games going on right now as we speak.
All right.
So, there's the weekend is setting itself up.
Exactly. So I'm very happy that I'm able going to see the LIV golf, but it's not going to stream this week. It'll be on online, but it will be on like the next event as well. For those of you who want to know about that.
I mean, they're trying to poach all the PGA guys, and they got their little war going on, between the two associates. You know what this reminds me of is, you remember IndyCar back in like the mid to late 90s? It was CART, and then the guy who owns like the Indianapolis race track, right, decided to start the Indy series, and then those two went back at it, and in the end, NASCAR just took over racing. Nobody gives a damn about open wheel, other than the Indianapolis 500.
Right.
Nobody gives a damn about IndyCar racing now. They just don't. Maybe in Indianapolis you do,
Because
but
that's big.
it's a big race, and look what NASCAR did. They decided to do the Brickyard 400. Anyways, point is this golf situation reminds me in a way of the fact that Indy had this thing and they destroyed themselves. And question is will this destruction happen to golf in some form or some way? I guess that's a good question to ask or find out here.
Right.
So, the money's there. They got 14 dates in a pretty cool structure. I guess the real question is, I don't think the golf is the issue, because if people like golf and they need some kind of major event, but besides that, are people going to actually remember what channel the CW is on in their city? I'll be honest with you. I think the CW is channel 18 in Milwaukee. It's that or 24. I know, but how many people know of the CW? I don't even know what their highest rated show is. Do they even got a show like in the top 20?
I remember they did SmackDown.
Well, they did, but it's not. It's
not an actual live real sport.
Is it still on CW on Friday night? No, it's Fox now.
It's on Fox now on Friday.
Yeah, and that's going to probably change, because I don't think Fox is going to renew that on Friday night, because allegedly Fox has lost like over $100 million a year with that contract. So
this is the first time I've heard this information.
That's, and the WWE is about to enter. TV negotiations, and it looks like they're trying to sell the WWE, which is why Vince McMahon, jumped back into the fray here. Yeah, like I don't know much about, like, seriously, this is like the first major sports with the CW and ever.
Right.
Other than like I said, like minor league hockey or something, But like can people remember what the CW is? That's the question. Will people be able to remember what the CW is and remember to actually take their remote and flip it to it?
Well, we do know that that's the UPN and WB merged together to be CW. That's most people know about that.
I mean, it's really hard to say right now.
Right. And plus, they had plus they had different changes of ownership, because it used to be CBS has most of the ownership, but now it's Nexstar Broadcasting, aka Tribune Broadcasting, because they did buy out Tribune Broadcasting. Because you did say,
I don't know a whole lot about that situation, but I know it's a big multimedia conglomerate group, more focused on the local television network end. But will this divide golf like it did IndyCar? I don't know.
You don't know.
I guess I guess we'll have to find out.
Right. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the LIV golf. Something new.
So let's talk about the mixed martial arts event here coming up here this weekend.
That is UFC 283.
Because it's got a lot of fights, and this thing's happening in Brazil. It's got a little bit of, it's got, we got, what do we got? Two title fights? Yep. Got 2 title fights. I mean, I'm looking at the card right now, and I mean, a lot of Brazilians on this thing, of course, because it's in Brazil.
Exactly.
So I guess let's go with the main card. We'll work our way up, I guess. Johnny Walker from Brazil and Paul Craig.
Mm-hmm. That's the first fight.
Got to probably take Walker in that fight. I mean, both guys are pretty experienced, but I think Walker's probably just got a little too much for him. Then you've got a women's fight, Jessica Andrade and Lauren Murphy.
That's a very interesting one.
I think Andrade should win. I mean, she's minus 500. I mean, you should win that fight. I don't really know much about Lauren Murphy. Kind of cute, but anyways, that's besides the point.
Right.
Not gonna judge all of our winners in the female division off of that. I mean, there are some talented fighters there. Then we've got Gilbert Burns and Neil Magny. This fight, I mean, Gilbert Burns, man. I mean, he's mad talented. Man, at one point, man, I thought like he had a serious chance. The way he was fighting like a year ago before he had his title shot, I was thinking, man, this dude might have a chance to beat Stylebender before he got beat,
Right.
And then Stylebender lost, as I predicted he would. A lot of y'all didn't think it was going to happen, but, my track record with UFC predictions are usually pretty good. I mean, Gilbert Burns should win this fight. I mean, he does not have the one thing Magny's got going for him is a 9-inch reach advantage, and he's got 5 inches on the guy. So, I mean, it should be interesting.
And then you got 2 title fights: the UFC flyweight and the for the co-main event, and then for the main event it's the light heavyweight.
Well, you got the flyweight fight with Davison Figueroa against Brandon Moreno. Both guys pretty experienced. Moreno's got a slight reach advantage, nothing major. I think Figueroa is a little bit of a better striker. Brandon Moreno's going to have to find something to win this. Like, suck it up to another level.
Or something to wow us, in other words.
I mean, he's favored. I mean, this fight's almost a pick 'em, I feel. I mean, it's only a 125 favorite. I mean,
and
this fight almost has pick 'em written all over it.
It's very close between these two.
I mean, Brandon Moreno needs to find some inner heart here to get through this fight to win this. Don't know if he will, but we'll see. We'll see. And then the main fight, another close to pick'em event. We've got Glover Teixeira against Jamal Hill. Hill's got a slight reach advantage, 3 inches, 2 inches on the height. The guy. I mean, this is a type of fight where I don't think you're going to see much action on the ground unless it's ground and pound and somebody's out of their damn gourd. You know, the one thing that Hill does have is that he is a southpaw. And that can present some problems. And I think Hill is a very accomplished striker. I mean, Glover Teixeira can throw with the best of them too. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
You know, one guy's got 41 fights of experience. The other guy's got 12. I mean, this is a step up in class, but Hill is you know done some work. I mean,
and if you look at his last 3 fights, the first 2 was performance of the night, and his last fight was a fight of the night.
Yeah, I mean, and then somehow he lost to Paul Craig, who's on this undercard for some reason. And he's won 4 of his last 5 fights, right? And
Paul Craig, right?
Yes, and I'm talking about Hill now. His last 4 wins are Oliver St. Preux, who's a damn good athlete, just hasn't put it together yet. You know, Jay Crute, Walker, Johnny Walker, and you know, Santos. I mean, you know, Thiago Santos ain't no bum, you know, but this dude is, you know, I mean, this fight isn't just going to end in 1 round.
Oh, hell no.
I mean,
if you see this going to a distant in 5-4 rounds, because it's so close. It's very hard.
If this fight goes to full 5, then I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to happen. I mean, this guy almost a year and a half ago, I mean, Paul Craig dislocated this dude's arm in an armbar.
Yikes. I remember that.
Man.
And this is a fight I probably have to pay attention when it comes to scoring this fight with the scorecard.
I mean, what this guy has said is, hey, you know what? I wasn't prepared for that fight. I still should be undefeated. I disrespected the game, but now I'm here and I'm back. So, I mean, you know, in that essence, I guess we shall see. You know, pick'ems for this fight. I see this fight just being a pick'em kind of a fight. You know, it'll be interesting to say the least. That is for sure.
Right. And the funny thing is, Teixeira has been like underdogs every time he fights.
I mean, you know, the guy is a veteran. He's been through it. And I ain't gonna lie. I never saw this guy thinking he was gonna be champion someday.
Right.
And lo and behold, this guy's the champ and has been so for a while. So it's interesting. And we'll see. I mean, either guy's got a chance, I think, to win this fight Saturday night. I think both titles are, you know, they're pick'ems. Either way.
Got you right there. So yeah, the fight will be in Brazil, and this is the first time they ever had a UFC fight in Brazil in like 3 years. That was UFC. I'm trying to see what was the last fight. It was UFC.
It's been a while, but you know, COVID does crazy things to you.
Exactly.
You know,
and then you also want to talk about what was that fighter? Ngannou.
Well, you know, Francis Ngannou was stripped of being the heavyweight champion because he's not part of the UFC anymore.
Okay.
But this week he came out with a video and kind of explained why he didn't re-sign with the UFC and what he wants to do. And, you know, and he was talking about, you know, fighters insurance and
all that other stuff.
And other things, you know.
I heard he turned down an $8 million fight.
Well, he turned down an $8 million the Jones fight would have been $8 million. But he turned down a 3-fight deal because then, you know, the UFC puts in certain things in their contracts. And he didn't want to go down that road, which I can't blame him, you know? And, you know, like the UFC gets like a year to match things, fighters insurance, you know, marketing rights, stuff like that. I mean, UFC kind of controls all of it, and he didn't want that. You know, now he's talking about, you know, fighting Tyson Fury and Usyk or Anthony Joshua and looking at other promotions. I mean, I'll be honest with you. You should have just. It was me. I would have probably just took a 1-fight deal and fought Jones, and then figured it out afterwards. Because if you're able to beat John Jones, then I think you have even more negotiating power.
Right. You would think.
You know, because then you prove like you are the king now.
Right.
And the king goes free. He should have signed a 1-fight deal to fight Jones, is what he should have done. Now he just lost the opportunity to fight John Jones, unless John Jones beats Cyril Gane, and then Ngannou decides to step in, and then they make that fight after. I mean, we'll see. I mean, if John Jones beats Cyril Gane, and then Francis Ngannou is a fight after, and then Jones wins that fight, well,
my goodness.
Jones is then the greatest fighter in MMA history, bar none. And he may already be. He may already be. And it's going to be interesting. Do I think John Jones is going to fight all 8 fights on that contract? No, I do not.
That's impossible.
I mean, that's 2 fights a year for him at his age. I don't see it.
So.
I don't think he needs the money. I think he fights Cyril Gane, wins that, maybe fights Ngannou, calls it a day, retires, works up some type of deal with the UFC, becomes a brand ambassador, and
something like that.
It is set for life.
Right.
I mean,
he's already a Hall of Famer anyway, so you don't need to fight anymore.
I mean, we'll see where that goes. I mean, March 4th is a long ways off. We got 6 weeks for this fight, so
right.
Time will tell. Time
will tell, and tickets won't be out until tomorrow.
Hey, I would love to.
Oh, I think he'll be right back. But yeah, so the tickets won't be released until tomorrow for the UFC with the John Jones fight. Because John Jones is like 30. Let me see how old he is. He's like 30. Oh, he's 35. Okay, so he's 35 years old. So if you did not hear that the upcoming fight for UFC, the tickets for UFC, it's 285. I think it's 285. UFC 280. 285 tickets. Yep. So I'm looking at the tickets. The tickets is starting at $250. Wow. So the ticket price starting at $250. So I'm looking at the price of it because it is at T-Mobile Arena. So it will be starting at 10 a.m. So time will be 3 o'clock. Doors will be open at 2. On sale will be tomorrow, beginning tomorrow. And ticket price starting at $250. Now let me see how many. Well, they probably ain't gonna release the stinking other ticket price for certain arenas, certain seats. So time will tell. All right. So the John Jones and Gane will be on March 4th at T-Mobile Arena. And let me see how many fights they add into that card. Because I'm pretty sure they added a couple fights in UFC 285. And as we're waiting for our co-host. Okay, let me see. And if you do have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave a comment and I will ask that question. So as of right now, John Jones and Cyril Gane is the heavyweight for the main event, and then for the co-main event is Viviane Oriol and Amanda Rabas, if I'm saying their last name right. So I won't tell. And the main event between John Jones and Cyril Gane, this is for the vacant UFC heavyweight. Oh, Okay, now you're back.
We're back.
Now, what were you going to say?
Yep.
Now, what were you going to say? 'Cause
I,
you were cut
I
off.
was saying, yep, I think I was talking about the UFC needing a star,
Yeah. You did say because we talked
and they
about
don't
that.
have
Because
that.
they
They do
right now.
everything right now in the UFC, except they don't have that true star power. They, no offense, they need somebody like a Canelo Alvarez. You know, maybe they need a Mexican MMA superstar that's going to draw the Mexicans to it. I mean, I don't know,
Right.
but they need somebody.
That could take
Okay,
UFC to a next level.
they need somebody to step up.
Because there's no
And
superstars right now.
there, John Jones is the closest thing. Him and Ngannou were the two closest. If you told me names in the UFC right now, the top two names right now would be Ngannou and John Jones, without
That
a
is
doubt. Right now, those two guys are the biggest names in the UFC, and you just lost one of them.
right.
And one guy hasn't fought in 2 years.
Years. Yeah, it's been 2 years since John Jones has not fought.
I mean, better figure some things out. Better be talking to your branding department and marketing department and hyping some dudes up or putting some promotional dollars or something behind people. As I said, the ESPN deal has not folded well in terms of
Terrible.
the marketability. It's kind of killed the brand and stagnated it a little bit.
I like it when it was on Fox.
Hey, when it was on Fox and
It was on almost every week.
when it was on Fox, and then and the other fights were free, and then the pay-per-views you paid for. But sometimes a major UFC event was on Fox. You know what? That was huge. Huge. That's when I think it was at its peak.
Right. And it was very easy to follow.
And it's lost that. It has lost a little bit of that being able to follow, to access, to watch. I mean, the names of talent was a little bit fresher. The names were more recognizable. You've taken that away with this ESPN deal. I mean, I know you're trying to make money and all through the pay-per-views. Okay, I get that.
Right. That's
but
business.
You need to make the non-pay-per-view fights more accessible than just ESPN Plus.
Right, exactly, because not everybody have ESPN Plus.
And you know what? That is hurting the brand because they're tied to that too. All those fights being on ESPN Plus for the most part, or ESPN Plus pay-per-view. It's not good right now. It's not good. ESPN has to do a better job, or the UFC needs to work something out in that aspect to get that done.
Right. And show more UFC Fight Night fights, because most of those UFC Fight Nights are on ESPN Plus.
So let's talk about a subject that we meant to talk about on Tuesday.
Bears.
We're going to talk about the Bears, everybody. The Bears. So here's my take on the Bears, okay?
All right.
Yes, they've got the number one pick. Congrats. But this free agency, you have $130 million. Congrats. I'm happy for you guys. Here's the problem. This free agency cycle is going to suck. Okay? The least amount of talent in free agency in like eons. Okay? the best wide receiver right now in free agency until Michael Thomas gets cut, which do you really want to throw that money at him, is Jacoby Meyer. It would be like Jacoby Meyer and Juju Schuster. Okay, and McCole Hardman. That's about where you're going to be at in free agency. That might be why the Bears traded a second-round pick for Claypool to the Steelers, because free agency's not that good. And the Bears are stuck at 1, and then they don't have a pick again until like the 3rd round.
Yikes.
Now, it's rumored that Hopkins from the Cardinals is available via trade. That's going to cost you probably a 1. A low 1, I would say, which the Bears don't have. Now, if they didn't trade for Claypool, they might have been able to trade that pick and maybe like a 3rd rounder, and they could have got Hopkins and paired him up with Mooney and you know, then made a trade with that first pick and traded down a little bit, maybe to like 4 or something. Then have the top 2 teams, 2 of the 4 teams grab a quarterback, so that way you could have got a defensive lineman and set yourself up, and then maybe grabbed another second rounder out of it, to address the wide receivers. But free agency is not going to bode well for the Bears. They may spend a little bit of money, but I do not expect them to go on a shopping spree this offseason. Okay? They might spend like 40 of it, okay?
Got it.
Because what they need to address is offensive line.
Fine.
Yes, they need 2 wide receivers. Because besides Mooney, that offensive line, that wide receiving core isn't good. And I am not a fan of Claypool, okay? I am not. So, you may need 2 wide receivers. You need some offensive linemen, okay? David Montgomery's a good back, but I don't know if he'll be a Bear because he's going into free agency.
Oh.
So you got to address running back. Okay? Then, defensively, the Bears are awful. Okay? They only had 20 sacks this season. 20. And they had to blitz more often than normally the Bears do. That's how bad that D-line is. Plus, they've got scheme issues. Okay? You got scheme issues, a bad defensive line. Okay? You traded away your best defensive player. Yeah, I realize you didn't want to pay him $20 million. I get it. Okay? Cool. Then your secondary is average at best, maybe. The safeties are below average. Corners, probably not all that. Not saying they're great. Not saying they're bad. They're average. I'll say the corners are average. Safeties are below average. Linebackers are trash. Okay? And the D-line is trash. You have to spend a whole lot of money to revamp your defense. Plus, you pick in the draft, which everybody knows the Bears want to trade down. Okay? Unless they're going to trade Justin Fields and draft Bryce Young at 1 and try to trade Justin Fields for draft picks. I mean, are the Bears sold on Justin Fields if it was between Justin Fields and Bryce Young? I'm not so sure. I mean, Justin Fields can run. We know that. But he can't pass. Then again, the Bears really don't have decent wide receivers. But let me ask, if you put another starting receiver or two out there, would it help that much? I'm not so sure in Justin Fields' case. I mean, if I'm the Bears, I'll be honest with you. I'm seriously thinking about drafting Bryce Young at 1 and trading Justin Fields. And if somebody wants to give you a 1, like a low 1, or like a 2 and a 3 for him, do it. Address your defensive needs. You can use that on 2 defensive players. You can draft Bryce Young, and you can extend this rebuild out by 2 years in terms of that contract. Because next season, Justin Fields is in year 3 of his contract. Now you're only getting 3 years of rookie pay scale before he's going to want big money or you're going to let him go and he's a bust.
Yeah, you don't want that to happen.
And next year's going to be a wasted year because of development anyways. I mean, I'm the Bears. I mean, there are teams that need quarterbacks in this league. And young ones like that, Justin Fields can be, you know what? You can trade Justin Fields to a team that has wide receivers, and you can get a first-round pick. Hey, the Ravens would be an ideal place for him.
Right, because they're in a salary cap situation, like you said on Tuesday.
You know, because, dude, they could just say they could trade Lamar, get a couple picks, and then get Justin Fields. Pretty much same situation, except now you get 3 more years on a rookie salary cap. You know, Jackson could get traded to, like, a team that needs a quarterback. The Ravens get a couple firsts. Then they use one of those firsts and send them to the Bears for Fields. And then Bears got 2 firsts. They draft Bryce Young with 1. They address the defense with the other. Boom. I mean, I honestly can see the Bears trading Justin Fields because you're already in year 3 of the contract. But the thing that the Bears need to do with that money is address wide receiver. Address the defensive line. The defense needs a serious amount of repair. Okay? You fix that up. You know, you spend like a good chunk on defense, get the offensive line addressed, and get yourself a capable running back, whether it's David Montgomery or somebody else. Okay?
Got it.
You know, and I don't see Saquon Barkley. Who the hell is this? So, I mean, at this point, I couldn't tell you right now what's all going on in that aspect. But time will tell. Time will tell for sure.
And then I heard, I think I heard something on the radio that about a trade. Well, I think we there we go. I think I heard like on the radio saying like Lamar Jackson may go to Seattle for like a trade or something like that. That was like a scenario, for example.
I mean, there's a lot of scenarios right now in regards to that. Where it's going to happen, I don't know.
We don't even know
in that aspect
because we're very early. We're very early in the NFL draft. We got a couple of months.
I mean, we haven't even had the combine yet,
Exactly.
or the combines for the guys who skip out because they're high picks, and then figure it out from there. Like Young, Levis, Anderson, Carter, C.J. Stroud. They're gonna all they're all going to do their own days individually. I don't expect any of those guys to participate in Indianapolis.
And I also got to see the report, the strongest, the weakness, and how does that player get along in the locker room type of stuff. I got to also see that report. That's also important to me.
Yeah, that's going to be important. That is for sure, Shawn. In the end, I don't know what's going to end up happening, but that's why these weeks that lead up to it are pretty interesting and valuable, and that's why people tune in for those specific reasons.
Exactly. And the great thing is, I can watch the draft on the NFL Network. Thank God. But yeah, that would. Oh, looks like we lost him again. Huh. But yeah, that would be interesting if CJ Stroud being traded to a team that needs a quarterback. I was gonna say about the Indianapolis Colts because the Colts they definitely need a quarterback. You got the Colts need a quarterback, the Panthers need a quarterback, the Saints need a quarterback, possibly Tampa Bay. Well, Houston needs a quarterback. Who else? Raiders with their situation since Derek Carr may not play for the Raiders, so it's gonna be like a very interesting scenario. Oh, excuse me. So, as I am talking right now, I think I can, in a couple minutes, we can do the talk about the divisional playoffs, which will happen on Saturday and Sunday. And I do have the odds maker for four of the games. Let me pull that up. All right, let me pull that up. Okay, let me see. Okay, so let me see. So there's one game on NBC. That's the 4:30 game. That is the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Chiefs. The Chiefs are at home, and then Fox will have two games for prime time. So the first one will be the Giants and the Eagles. That's the 8:15 game on Fox, and then on CBS it's the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills. A 5.5 favorite, totals like 49, and then Dallas and San Francisco is 46 and a half, and the 49ers are favored by 4, and it looks like that the public is favoring the 49ers 64%, while Cowboys are 36%. And then for the surprisingly, a lot of people are picking the Cincinnati Bengals 78%. I'm looking at a site called oddsharks.com. 78% are in favor of the Cincinnati Bengals. Then you also got the Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. The public actually likes the New York Giants over the Eagles. That is going to be very, because again, you never know, because the Giants have one of these crazy playoff runs. Because I remember in 2007 and 11, those years they won a Super Bowl. They won games on the road than it is at home, and that's one thing about the Giants. The Giants were able to win games on the road, so I wasn't surprised that the Vikings blew that game because Minnesota will find a way to lose games as well. Mm. So, so we will wait for Mr. Anthony Paulis, and as a matter of fact, I'm gonna pull up a. Let me see. I got that commercial. Oh, here it is. So I'm going to play a commercial, and this is by Nerd Focus. And that is it. That is Nerd Focus. So you will see that in the description below later on. And that is the energy drink that helps your brain focus as well. And also, we like to thank SuperDraft Pro for sponsoring the show. So head on at superdraftpro.com/sports, the number 4, America, America. And I do have the player props as well. Okay. So we're still waiting for him. Okay. Because I am still here. So I might as well talk about the Kansas City. Okay, hold on a sec. I don't know why is this pop. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we
Yep,
go.
we're back.
Okay. All right. Now, I was saying a scenario. How about like if C.J. Stroud were to go to the Colts?
Well, I'll tell you this about him going to Indianapolis. First off, he couldn't get to Indianapolis as a starter at Ohio State, so maybe it is fitting because he can finally win a game in Indy. Maybe a low blow by me there, but it is the truth. Anyways, in the end, I think he's going to be the third quarterback off the board. Maybe that'll change. You know, right now they got the quarterbacks at Young, Levis, and then him. I mean, if something changes, he rises up the board. But I see Stroud going in at like 5 or 6. I can see the Lions trading back with somebody in that team moving up to draft him. You know, maybe the Panthers make a trade to move up to 5 to get him at from 7 to 5.
That's another team that needs a QB.
I mean, there are a lot of teams that need a quarterback right now. I mean, you know, right now, I would guess that Trey Lance, if he was going to get traded right now, he'd go to the Titans. Because the guy who, a 49ers personnel guy, just became the GM of the Titans, and that guy was very pro Trey Lance. And Ryan Tannehill's in the last year of his contract at $27 million. So, and you got Malik Willis there. I mean, will Trey Lance be healthy enough for camp? I guess that's another thing to consider. There's just so many veteran quarterbacks out there this year. It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. You got probably 4 quarterbacks that are going to go in the top 20 in this draft. I mean, 3 in the top 10, 4 in the top 20. I mean, not a lot of offensive talent in terms of skill position other than quarterback.
Exactly. Not like
other than wide receivers. You might see some receivers going in that 11 to 20 range.
I was getting ready to say that. I could see that scenario.
But I don't think any of these guys are as talented as the wide receiver groups of the last 3 years. I mean, there's talent there, but I don't see these guys of the Jamar Chase, the Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb. That class was special at wide receiver. 3 wide receivers like that in a group is nuts.
Unbelievable.
I mean, I think I think you're going to see 6 wide receivers go in the first round, maybe even 7. But they're all going to be more in that 11 to 31 range. You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, this draft is just going to be very. I think you're going to see about. I mean, a lot of defense is going to go. I mean, I could see 6 corners in the first round. 6 corners, 6 wide receivers, a bunch of linemen, 1 or 2 linebackers, and 4 quarterbacks, and maybe 1 running back, and a tight end.
Yeah, depending on the scout and combine.
Maybe 2 tight ends. But I'm going to say this. No franchise should ever be drafting a tight end in round 1.
Right. That's kind of stupid.
You just don't do it. It's like wasting a pick. It's wasting a damn pick. Now, let's talk playoffs.
Yes, we are. I was just getting ready to talk about that. So we have 2 games on Saturday and 2 games on Sunday. So the first one is, the first one is Jacksonville Jaguars and the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Chiefs are 8.5 favorite. Total is 52.5.
I think the Jags are going to play them tough. I think they will. You know, I think the Jags are going to come in there offensively hot with some momentum, and they're going to put it hard on the Chiefs and make it a game.
Because I got to see how the Chiefs defense work well against the Jaguars.
But I think the Chiefs will pull it out. I don't think that game will be a blowout.
I don't think that 8.5 is going to cover.
I'll take the under 8.5 on that as well.
Okay. I don't think the 8.5 will cover, but I'll take.
I mean, I expect the Chiefs to win, but I don't expect them to blow them out. And I think Jacksonville is going to give them a bigger game, a tougher game than people think.
Okay. Then the next one, NFC East rivalry. As a matter of fact, they played each other in the playoffs before. The last time they did was in 2008, 2009. The New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles are favored by 7.5. Total is 48 minutes. But unfortunately, the public actually likes the New York Giants, according to Odds Sharks.
Well, the only question I have is what is the health of Jalen Hurts? If he's healthy and they're ready to play, I'll take the over in terms of the Eagles covering the spread. If not, or he's not playing good,
the Giants could upset them.
I don't know about that. I think they keep it close. I mean, I think the Eagles should win the game.
And they should go to the NFC Championship game. They should.
They should.
They should. I can see this. It's 40. Total's 48. God. I don't know.
I'll take the over on the points, too. That I will do. I think there's going to be points scored.
Not like last time.
Well, got to remember the Eagles were resting a lot of players, and so were the Giants.
Both teams were resting because both of them were in the playoffs. So, yeah.
So I'll take the over on the points.
Gotcha. So we got the Saturday game. So now we're on a Sunday game. So this game will be on CBS. It's the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills. Now Buffalo almost lost to the Dolphins, but the Buffalo Bills pulled it off against Miami. So the total is 49. And matter of fact, the public likes the Cincinnati Bengals, even though they're a 5.5 underdog. The Bengals.
It's all going to depend on Joe Burrow being able to handle the fact that his O-line is banged up.
That's my concern is as well.
How well will the Bengals be able to adapt? Because they're not going to be able to throw deep balls and stuff with that line being banged up. I think that game will all depend on that offensive line, how it plays. Because by the end of that game against the Ravens, they were out 3 starters. Who's coming back to help them this week? That's the question.
And then also, can Buffalo stop the Bengals' running game?
Well, I don't think the running game is going to be that strong because they're banged up on the O-line. That's an advantage for Buffalo. I mean, remember, this game's in Buffalo. This game isn't in Cincy.
Yeah,
if this game was in Cincy, I would probably actually take the Bengals.
Right. And as a matter of fact, they played each other in the playoffs. The last time they played each other was in 1988, the year that the Bengals went to the Super Bowl.
Yep, I remember that. And
that
then,
was in the AFC Championship game.
Yep, and then after that, the Bills went on a run.
So yeah, total is 49. Bills are a 5.5 favorite. I think I'll take the Bills for the points. I'll take the Bills plus the points.
I mean, the Bills should handle it.
Right, and it should cover. That one I'll likely will take. And here's what everybody is watching: the Dallas Cowboys and the 49ers. Now, this game is at Santa Clara. The public, of course, like the 49ers, as the 49ers are fed by 4. Total is 46.5. I see this game as a really close game. I really do. I have a strange feeling that this could be a close game. I still have the 49ers winning this game as well.
Well, it's a rematch of the playoffs from last year. This game isn't at Dallas.
Right, it's in Santa Clara this time.
I'm going to say it. I like this 49ers team a lot. I'm taking the Niners. I mean, they're my pick to win the NFC. I'll just flat out say it.
Okay.
How about that? I mean, what's changed between last year and this year? They got Christian McCaffrey and Purdy's on fire.
Exactly. Finally, they got a running back.
So, I mean, at this point, I like the Niners in this game. If this game was on the road in Dallas, I think Dallas, it would be more of a pick 'em, but San Francisco's at home.
Right. So, in other words, what Anthony's saying is he has the 49ers to win the George Halas Trophy because the George Halas Trophy is the NFC trophy. In the
So
AFC,
I'm gonna take the Niners to win and cover.
Okay. And then you said you have the 49ers going to win the NFC, the George Halas Trophy. And then
yes.
the AFC is the Lamar Hunt Trophy.
Haven't figured that one out yet.
Yeah, exactly, because it's really mind-boggling. Probably decide to like the AFC Championship game, and I probably have a strange feeling it'll probably be a rematch if it's the Chiefs and the Bengals. I have a strange feeling about that. It may happen. It may.
Yeah, I mean, definitely an interesting weekend for sports. Plus, we got college basketball, some NBA, soccer.
What are some soccer games that's interesting? Because I'm a Premier League person myself.
I mean, right now, the Premier League, Arsenal. Can they hold on and win the league? I don't think anybody predicted Arsenal was going to win the Premier League going into this season. I mean, Liverpool has just fell off the face of the earth, it seems. Man City has also. So, I mean, Arsenal wins the Premier League this season. I don't think a lot of people had that picked. I surely didn't.
Because right now, Manchester City did Tottenham 4-2, just in case nobody didn't know about that today.
Well, Spurs has their own issues right now. And Harry Kane. Let me just go ahead and say this.
Sure.
England is never going to win anything. Okay? There you go, people. Here's your answer. Okay? Overrated. Mentally overrated.
Mentally overrated.
That team is a bunch of folders. They always fold in the clutch.
And that would include the Euro Cup.
Doesn't matter. Euro, World, whatever. The only reason they even won in 66 is because it was at home.
And that was their only World Cup they won, correct?
Yep.
That's what I thought.
That team is a bunch of folding. And today, there's just so much pressure on England now when it comes to that. And no offense, Harry Kane ain't all that. I'm sorry. He's not. Is he a good player? Yes. But the man can't create on his own. That's what separates the true powerhouse stars from ones who can only create from deliveries. Harry Kane can't do that. Everybody can say Kane this, Kane that. That's great. But you're not a Lewandowski. You're not a Haaland. You're not an Mbappe or a Messi or a Ronaldo. It's just not going to happen for you.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So it looks like we can do our SuperDraft Pro NFL player props picks for the Saturday games. So I got them right now on the messenger, by the way. So we're going to start with Travis Kelce with 82.5 receiving yards. I think this will be a little bit lower.
I'll take the over.
So we got them like neck to neck, one over, one under. Patrick Mahomes, I can see this 27.5 completions.
Gotta take the over. It's Patrick, man.
And plus, maybe like a close game. I can see that over. Another one, Trevor Lawrence, 250.5 passing yards. He can actually get this one. I could see him getting like 280.
I could see it. Sure, why not?
Yeah, 280. Jalen Hurts, 50.5 rushing yards. I could see this probably like, God. Probably he doesn't have to do it. It depends on his health status.
I'm going to take the under.
That's exactly.
Because I think they're going to want to save him for San Francisco.
And that's what I'm looking at as well. And then also Daniel Jones, 45.5 rushing yards. I see that as an under, a very close under. Probably like 36 or something.
He's going to want to run. He's going to have to run.
Right.
You know what?
And it depends how great the Eagles defense when he
I'm going to take the over on that running, just on a hunch.
Okay. Man, we kind of like neck to neck. Is there any other college basketball games needs to be, because we're in college basketball.
Well, right now Michigan and Maryland are playing. The second half just started and on ESPN, and FS1 is Michigan State and Rutgers in a close game.
Okay. As of right now,
and Purdue is beating the snot out of Minnesota at Minnesota.
Oh gosh, that team's terrible. My gosh. So, right now is a close game right now. So Michigan's only down by 2. As you said, they're getting started.
Yep. Just about 19 minutes left in the second half.
All right. So it looks like we're going to wrap this. And on Saturday, I will have Chris win as we're going to do for the player props for Sunday's game. So please pay attention to that on the YouTube as well. So we will see you guys on Tuesday as well. So
Tuesday.
So thank you very much, and you guys have a nice and wonderful weekend.
Peace.
All right.